Greetings, everyone. As always, each Tuesday, me and Vala, Valarome are here with you, and on our Moneylogy show, where we share our thoughts, our experience regarding reaching a financial freedom. So, if your topics related to financial freedom, personal finances, investing, entrepreneurship are important and interesting for you, just watch our show, and we will be discussing these topics here. Today's topic we would like to discuss with Valor is related to discipline. And from a perspective of finances, also the financial discipline and the discipline in general, probably everyone would agree that discipline is one of the key factors if you want to reach your goals and to be more successful, faster, and also not only to reach the goals, but at the same time to sustain what you already reached. So, Vala, what do you think about the discipline and the finances? How these two things connect together?
Good morning. Yeah, I think it's very connected because without discipline, we would do a lot of emotional expenditures, which doesn't help us. So yeah, when I was thinking about the word discipline, it comes to my mind that it has to be connected with a decision, because discipline is pretty much like keeping your decision as you made it. So first of all, we have to be clear, why we do it, and then if we decide to do it, then we just have to keep going. And this is the discipline which is actually it's triggered by the why behind it, because if the why is very clear, then it's not so hard to keep the discipline. But if it's just okay, I decide to do it but I don't know why I'm doing it, then it's very easy to fall off the track. So I think it's the decision making is really big part of the discipline.
I totally agree with it. This why part is really important. And when you was talking about it, actually, I reminded myself just quite a funny but easy example about this. For example, when you are going for a vacation, you need to get really early in the morning in order not to be late for the plane. You will always will wake up and get from bed early. But if you don't have this so strong why on the daily basis, then usually the early alarm is always the tough part, and you are always willing to snooze it, to postpone it. But because of really strong why, your willingness to go for a vacation, you understand that you are not willing to be late for a plane. This is actually makes the waking up process much easier. So the same would be actually in the finances as well. If you know really strong reasons why you need, let's say, to manage your finances, why you need to keep an eye on your expenses, and also why you need investing and put some money aside, this would probably bring much stronger discipline to this area as well.
Yeah, and I think business and investing is very similar to sports. So imagine that you have no goal as a sportsman, just going to exercise for nothing, and you will eventually quit because you don't have the strong why behind it. But if your goal is to become a champion in certain areas, you know it pretty well, Joris, probably, then you will keep the discipline because you have the end goal in mind, and you will just know that, okay, these are the small steps I need to take to reach my goal.
Exactly.
So yeah.
Yeah, I totally agree. I even was observing the people who do some sports and how it connected to their success level, let's say in business or investing, and it's really very connected together, because probably because of the same reason they already get used to use the small steps and aiming towards their main goal and moving forward no matter what. And comparing to other people who maybe are not so disciplined because they don't do or didn't do sport in the past, it's much harder for them also to have this discipline in their daily life, and the same is also the finances. So what do you think, Vala, from what steps the discipline in financial area starts? So what would be the first steps people need to pay attention to in order to be more disciplined?
Well, I think it really starts with building the picture of where you are and where you want to go. Because if you have this clarity, these are really the first steps. Is like we discussed probably earlier, is that making a financial statement is like going to a doctor.
Yep.
So if you don't know that you have something wrong with yourself, then you do nothing. Or sometimes you just don't want to go to doctor because you know that there's something wrong. But anyway, if you get the results from your doctor, then okay, now my decision is that should I change it or I just keep it like it is. And probably this will help you to start changing it. And the same is with finances. So and then the question is, okay, where I want to go? What is the end goal? What is my financial goals I want to achieve? So I think if this is clear, then the discipline is just a journey to make this change.
Exactly. And I would say that probably the steps and the questions you need to answer yourself, or which would help you basically to sustain the actions and have this discipline in financial area, also connected with the level where you are, like you mentioned, because probably the steps you need to do if you are, let's say, on the survival level, on the model which we created regarding financial journey, and let's say if you have on the well-being level, it's totally different. I mean, you need to have a discipline in both levels, but the actions you need to do in these levels are different, and the questions you need to solve are also different in each level.
Yeah, so the smaller goals
Yep.
are totally different, and the topics are totally different. So I think discipline is more like a character issue. So if I have a strong will and if I have a character, and I will follow this one course until I get success, then basically you can use discipline for your advantage.
Exactly. One of the examples probably also related to a discipline in financial area is budget. So what is budget? And this is the Starfish vocabulary term we want to present to you today. Actually, it's just a plan of actions according to which a company, or the same is for a person and family, distributes their money towards different expense categories. So this is one of the things you need to also pay attention always, and this connects to discipline, because if, let's say, you have a plan, but then you forget the plan and you don't stick to the numbers you plan to have, then no money will be set aside, no money will be actually used wisely, and your result in the financial situation will be totally different from those people who stick with the plan and adjust the plan also according to the situation. So, Wolo,
Yeah.
I think if, let's say, a person sees that he is not like really strong disciplined in the financial area, usually people say, yeah, I know that I need to plan, I need to do something, but I always do the plan, and then the plan and the fact is totally different when I compare it. So what would be maybe some simple systems people could use in order to make them much more disciplined and make this journey easier for them?
Well, I mean, if you talk about budgeting, or maybe even paying yourself first, you just have to start with really small steps, and then budget is also it's basically like a guideline, and you will never probably exactly hit like 100% what was
Yeah,
the budget. It's like a little bit above or a little bit lower, or if it's a lot above
yeah,
and a lot lower, then you will make bigger changes.
exactly.
So it's basically like a guideline, but for the money, I would say that if you decide what are the categories, and you decide to pay yourself first in these categories, then you're on the way. And if your funds and finances allow, then you can start increasing the percentages putting to these categories. So I think this would be the first steps to think.
Yeah, I would agree with it, because paying your first step is paying your first actually is probably one of the first steps you need to do
Yeah.
before starting to do any other actions, and after you already know the why. So first of all, you need to know the why you do it, why you need to, let's say, put some money aside towards savings or towards your financial freedom and so on. And then basically just changing some habits, not trying to save money from what is left, but from the very beginning, as soon as you got the money, just train yourself, put the money aside, and this money will stay for another purposes. And this is actually the part of the discipline, because if you do it on the probably not the daily basis, because you don't receive income each day, but if you do, then it would be on the daily basis as well, but on a periodical basis. So is it like a weekly, monthly, daily? Then it becomes a habit, and the habit actually is the foundation of a strong discipline, because it's much easier for you then to do the actions automatically.
Yeah, so I mean, probably the example would be that, let's say if you decide that I want to put money aside for self-development,
Yep.
and then you say, okay, I can't do it right now because my salary is too low, I can't put money aside, but you can always put 1%, and you can put 1% basically today. So nothing changes if you have to leave next month for 99% of the revenue that you have. So you can actually start basically today with really small steps, but you have to decide what are the important categories. And if your goal is to move towards financial freedom, then you always need to also have your fund for financial freedom or investments, and you can start collecting money there today.
Yeah, and the next part is probably also to remove temptation to use this money not for the reason you save it, because this is quite a difficult part for a lot of people. They can save money, but then if something is going wrong and they don't have the money in their main account, the temptation is so high. Okay, I will borrow a bit from another pot and I will get it back later, but usually the money not going back anyway.
But by the way, it could be a reason why people never start. I just had an interesting discussion over the weekend with one person who said that, the reason why I'm not starting to put money aside is that because I'm going to use it, and I know I'm going to take it away from there. So I said, just have to put it away. Actually, she told that, please tell me the way how I can put it away so I can't touch it. So she already knows that she will start stealing it. So that's the reason why she never starts putting it aside. So it's really, really interesting.
Yeah, and it's really important part of the discipline, because if you look to any other area, for example, probably food is one of the good examples where people always take some diets, and then basically when they see, for example, a really delicious pie, they have so strong temptation to try it, and I will try just a small piece of it, and then just all the pie disappears. So the same is with money, and like you already said, because people realize it from the beginning that anyway it will happen, then why I need to save it, because anyway I will waste this money for another reason. And the solution would be basically just to put this money out of your sight somewhere where you would be able not so easily to reach it. And this would help you to avoid this temptation in the future.
Yeah, and I think food is a really good kind of comparison, because basically with food it's easy. You just, if you want to avoid eating certain foods, just don't buy it anymore, because then you have easy access to that. So the same is with money. So you just need to figure it out how you can put it in another bank, and maybe even give the password to your, to another person who will tell you if you want to get there.
The person who is really like a strong saver, because there are like always two types of people. One paid spenders and another one is savers. So find the person in your environment who is a really strong saver, give a password to him, and he will never give it out to you without a really strong reason. Yeah, but this is also part of a discipline. By the way, those who watch our show, you can ask questions in the comments below the video, and also you can suggest the topics for our upcoming shows if you want us to include them in our discussions. So feel free, write the comments below the video. Doesn't matter if you watch a live show or you watch a recording. We will be more than happy to answer the questions and to include your topics in the upcoming shows. And if you want to watch our previous shows, you can always find them on any channels you like, social media like Facebook, YouTube, Instagram. Subscribe to these channels, follow us, and if you like this content, probably you like also the content which we post via in the different format. And just give us your feedback. If you like the content, if you feel that it's valuable for you, like, share, comment the content we create for you, and this will motivate us to create it in the future. So just find the previous videos or comment the live shows if you want to get your answers right away during the show. So any final thoughts, Valor, for summarizing the discipline topic?
Yeah, I think it's really good topic, and it's really big part of the financial success. So I would say this way, that having no discipline is basically lack of financial plan. Yep. Because if you have a plan, then you will push yourself a bit more. And if you have no plan, then you just, do the emotional buyings like, life brings you. So having a plan and having a goal, I think it's really big part of it. So if you don't have it, then I think you should start from there. And then it's the question, okay, how badly do I want it? And if I really want it bad enough, and maybe I will put some price even for myself if I reach certain steps on the way, then it will help me to keep the discipline as well.
Yeah. One more thought which came up to my mind, which can be helpful also for those people who are lacking the discipline. Find somebody who would be your accountability partner. basically the person to whom you will commit the actions you are going to do, or you can actually even it publicly on Facebook wall or somewhere, and publishing actually will give much more commitment for you to do it. With plans, actually, there is a saying in Lithuania that, and this is the reason why a lot of people are not willing to do the plans, that you do the plan, but then the God loves on your plan. But actually, it's just a part of the saying, because the second part says that God is laughing because the plan is wrong. So if you plan right, basically the plan will be really useful for you, and it will help you to achieve your financial, and not only financial, but actually the goals in any area much faster and easier. So this is the topic about discipline, and next week, next Tuesday, we are going to talk about a different topic to follow again. If you like this show or our previous shows, just plan the time, the same day, same time, just next week, and we will meet you again. Thank you, Valo, for your thoughts, and let's meet next week.
Thanks. Have a great week.
Bye-bye.
Bye.